Hey, Sleepy Sheepy here. Today we're going to be doing some duels. I'm going to be using a 125 build with lightning infused straight swords. This is going to be pretty meta in terms of the build type. We're going to have Thunderbolt as our Ash of War on one blade, and then Quick Step on the other. I usually use that in Invasion, so I won't be using that in any of the duels. And then we'll be switching between the Ritual Shield Talisman as well as the Shard of Alexander. We may put on the blue feathered branch sword, but probably not. This is really just a dex build, so we have 67 dex, 28 endurance, which is going to be for all the gear that we're wearing, and then 60 vigor, just because that's pretty standard at this level. So that's the setup we're going to be using, and we'll just go ahead and jump in and see how this build does. Alright, looks like they're ready to go now. Oof. Yeah, they probably have some seals on. That was a lot of damage very quickly. I did not have my Ritual Shield Talisman on. I probably should have. Yeah, so that was kind of a weird build that guy was rocking. I'm not sure. It's very optimized for PvP. I guess those explosion chains can be problematic in some cases if you get caught in them, but if you're familiar with how they work, which is just like a long chain of explosions that follows the skull, you can kind of just worm your way into that opening and get some nice damage out.
Hey.
So it looks like we have somebody else with dual straight swords, so this will be interesting. Could be fairly evenly matched. Looks like they have Bloodhound Step, so this will be interesting. Looks like they're playing kind of passively too, so the lightning can be nice for that. Even if you miss with it, it can be a good tool to get somebody to come in and get a little bit closer to you. Definitely a good way to bait attacks. Okay. So looks like we've got somebody that plays by their own rules, which, I don't know, it's fine. I'm really just here to fight people, so if they're gonna heal, they have half the heals that I do, so. I do like the Lion's Claw attack just because it can be really easy to backstab. Obviously not always, but usually I don't try to spam that, but if they are healing, I don't feel so bad about it.
Hey.
Alright, hey. Looks like we have a Faith build. That Ash of War could be potentially dangerous. They do not have a lot of health, so that helps. Yeah, so somebody like that's going to use their Ash of War anytime you get close. It's really nice to have something that's a ranged attack, because that's going to poise break you, especially with a weapon like this. It doesn't get any hyper armor really. So having something like Thunderbolt on hand can just be a nice way to mix it up. Beast Roar is also a great option. Alright, looks like we might have a dual S-Dock setup. This can also be potentially difficult. They come out as faster than the straight swords, and do quite a bit of damage, so see if we can bait them into some attacks, get some jumping attacks off. Also have bleed build up, which is difficult, but we were able to roll that bleed proc, so that's nice. And that was a nice bait with the Thunderbolt. Definitely need to be wary of bleed, but their aggressive play is making that okay. So I think they thought they were out of range there, but straight swords do have a deceptive amount of range when it comes to their stationary R1s. So nice to be able to get the win there. If they had gotten that bleed proc, I imagine we would have had a much more difficult time. Alright, looks like we've got somebody with a lot of poise and halberd, which are not really waiting to get things started, so. Overhead was a nice mix-up. I really like the running heavy. It has just a little delay to it that really catches people off guard, and I don't think you see it that much.
Hey.
All right, let's see what we got going on here.
Hey.
I don't actually recognize that weapon. Maybe it's an Omen Cleaver. We have to try very hard to not panic roll, because one hit with that is going to be quite damaging, and honestly I think it makes sense to put this talisman on, because that first half can be brutal. Alright, that was nice that we poise broke them. That, oh, just not that much health, so I imagine if they hit this that would have been pretty brutal, but really anyone with under 60 vigor is likely going to have a hard time in duels and invasions at this level.
Hey.
Alright, so we're going to give this player another try. And I now know that they don't have much health, so I'll be a little bit more aggressive, but that's why that talisman is so nice. It just absorbs so much damage on that first hit. Yeah, that charged R1 really can come in handy with finishing people off. I feel like it's usually not expected, especially if you get used to the rhythm of the straight swords. It just comes out a little bit slower and seems to complement the timing pretty well. Alright, we're going to give this player another try as well. They have the bleed rapiers, which can be pretty rough. We're going to try to make sure we don't get hit by that bleed proc. That did a lot of damage, and seems like we might have a little bit of a delay there. Had better tracking than I was expecting. Just a little bit off at that time. I needed to bring that R1 out just a little bit sooner, but definitely a good fight nonetheless. Alright, looks like they might have the same setup as we do in terms of straight swords. Looks like they're not going for any buffs, so they might have been baiting me in there. Try not to take the bait. And looks like I was able to bait them. Oh, wow. And it's not a bad idea to switch up to the R1 just occasionally. I think it comes out marginally quicker than the than the L1. So if somebody's low on health, it doesn't really matter. You definitely bring out the single-handed attack, and you may be able to catch them before they roll out. Alright, so it looks like they're kind of passive. Sometimes I like to discourage the passive play by using that Thunderbolt. Wow, that's good timing for that Ash of War. I wasn't really expecting a use of an Ash of War on their end, but definitely worked out there. Alright, looks like we have somebody that's definitely more meta setup, so we'll see how our build does against theirs. Looks like they're trying to bait me in to be pop their bubbles here. Yeah, that rapier really just comes out so fast. It's hard to dodge any element of it. As I mentioned earlier, stamina management is really important with this straight sword setup. And it looks like the halberd rapier combos just a bit stronger than the straight sword setup, so that is also potentially a skill issue there on my part, but it is a force to be reckoned with.
Hey.
Alright, looks like we have a heavy thrusting sword build. Running R2s and how quickly the follow-up R1s are with this build type is just very powerful. Running R1 or R2s, running heavy rather, is just not as easy to strafe. I frequently get caught by that, thinking I'll be able to strafe it and not roll it. And we got the Thunderbolt to bait them in. It's so useful to just use if your opponent's playing rather far away from you. Something that puts you in an animation for a little while makes it look like you're going to be open for a hit, and especially if it applies pressure, it's a great tool for baiting attacks. I believe we've played this person before. Wow, so the heavy thrusting sword missed because of my attack animation. I think your body goes down a little bit during that first R1. And that was enough to have the hitbox be over my body. Alright, I'll set up just a single curved sword. That is not something you see frequently. It's a heavy attack that I have not seen before. Not sure if that's the jumping heavy or jumping light, but I didn't know you got 2 swings in. That's cool. I just got a message appraisal there. Okay. Looks like we're redoing that fight. That's nice. spacing is just right for that. That's always nice. Do enjoy the charged heavy as a mix-up. I think it's pretty solid. I almost feel like this guy deserves to win just because of that message appraisal in the middle. Alright, they're playing kind of passively, so I'll see if we can bait an attack. Wow. That talisman that boosts your defense when your health is low is surprisingly strong. So 3 hits in the end there, and I really thought they'd die from just one of them. Alright, so this is going to be our last one here. We're going to fight this player again who has the bleed rapiers, and we'll see if we can avoid the status proc. That's going to be kind of the name of the game here. Don't know if I knew that they had quick step. That is mildly terrifying. Maybe a little bit of delay. So Thunderbolt was enough to bait them in, and I think the dual L1 was enough to avoid popping their bubble tier. So it's a great combination, very dangerous build to be facing, and our bubble tier pretty much saved us in that one. And if you made it this far, I just really wanted to say thanks for watching, thanks for the support. This channel's been growing pretty quickly these days. We just hit about 100 subscribers, which is a big benchmark for me. And if you like this type of content, or you'd like to see different content, I'm happy to do it. The voice recordings over Duels is new for me, so your feedback is really valuable. So yeah, thanks again, and I hope you have a good one.